but good afternoon. Welcome to our home buyer seminar. We've moved this forward. Big changes here because we're now in the second half of the year, officially beginning of the third quarter, summertime, post July 4th, school's out, time to get serious for those of us who are working. So we moved this podcast from 5 p.m. to 4 p.m. Wednesdays. It's because I really moved my networking event from Thursdays to Wednesday at 5:30, and I knew they didn't conflict with the actual call, just conflict with my drive time. So anyhow, thanks for accommodating us. If you are watching this on live streaming on our social media platforms, Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, feel free to put a comment in the comment box and we'll catch you live here. If you're watching us on replay, leave a message and we'll get back to you. I'm Bill Gross on behalf of my colleague and good friends.
Yes, Patricia.Castillo.
Patricia.Castillo and
Gustavo Segura, hello.
Gustavo Segura. And estamos aquí en Los Ángeles y sur de California. Hablamos de el negocio real estate. Si puede comprar una casa en inglés o en español. Nosotros estamos aquí para a su servicio. There you go. There's my
cerveza.
I had a cerveza yesterday, but I didn't have a Modelo. I didn't have a Carta Blanca. I didn't have a Tecate. I had a Sam Adams in honor of July 4th. So Sam Adams is our least known founding father, but very important. Actually, prior to George Washington, probably is the match that lit the fire for the revolution. Very unknown, very well-known founding father. Anyhow, here we are, sober and ready to go the day after July 4th, though I will say that as soon as we're done here, I change and go to a networking event I host at a beer place to have more beer because I didn't have enough beer yesterday. Mm-hmm. So what's that do with home buying? Well, I don't know. We're human. We're here to help you. What's going on in the home market, Patricia?
It's busy as ever. I was out showing property this past weekend, and some of the areas that years ago where it seems a little too far for people that live in LA, that's really where they're able to buy right now. So those areas are becoming more and more attractive for buyers. And, so for example, this is Fontana. And there was when I looked at that sign-in sheet, there was about 40 families that had come through. And this is a open house that is open for 3 hours, right? We got there in the third hour of it closing. So there was about 45 minutes left. And I was just looking at the sign-in sheet thinking, wow, I hope all these people aren't going to be submitting offers, right? But that's usually what happens. You have a lot of people come to the open house, especially lately, because it's buyers have really come out in full force and looking for, a property that's suitable for them. So just to give you guys an idea, so this is a cute house. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. It's not a big home. It's under 1,000 square feet, but that's exactly what my clients are looking for. And there's not a lot of 2-bedroom homes on the market. So in this case, there was about 40 different families that showed up on one day. The listing agent received a total of 13 offers, and they're only going to counter the top 3. I'm in the top 3, so I'm waiting to actually hear back. And yeah, it's just, it's a very exciting time right now, but you also have to have all of your information together so that you are competitive, and you are up to speed on the market and know what's out there. It's important to work with professionals that are consistent and going out and looking at properties to see what a realistic offer is. Right now, we're seeing overbidding, multiple offers, and sometimes the highest price isn't the best. So it's also formulating your terms that are going to be favorable to the seller so that your offer can really be looked at. So that's where we're at. I actually just received a counter offer, and it's not even for the price because our price was pretty competitive. It's just regarding some other terms. So hopefully we will be accepted, but I was happy to hear that I was in the top 3 out of the 3. out of the 13, I mean. So it's competitive. A lot of negotiations happening, a lot of property tours. There were open houses even yesterday on the 4th of July. So, you know, it's a busy time right now.
Yeah, that's my sense too. You know, I have a listing. Actually, you were an offer on one. We have 10 offers on it, and we've been in the market for a little bit over a week. And same thing. And then, and I'll just share that I just literally closed today a transaction where we had multiple offers, and two of them, the real estate agents were really good. And most of the other real estate agents, as a listing agent, my job is to not just to get the best offer, but to get the best offer that's going to close. And how you assess that, you look at the transaction, you look at the offer, you look at the contract, you look at the agent. I talk to the agent, and I call the lender and pre-qualify them. Sometimes I push them to work with my lender or a lender I know, like Gustavo. In this case, it was a really good agent. Even though she was newer and not so experienced, she knew her stuff, and she had a really good lender. And as a result, we're actually closing early. We're scheduled to close July 15th, and we're closed today. So, and I remember today I called the congratulator for the closing, and I said, you know, when I first talked to you, I could just tell you're really good. You knew your stuff. It was a condo in an area that she knew really well, and the price range and the product. And I said it made a difference when I accepted the offer, and as a result, here we are today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Knowing the market, every neighborhood is different. So you might drive down 5 minutes and think, you know, well, what's the difference here? But it may be an inferior area, you know, inferior product as far as the homes available in comparison to driving a mile or two, you know, north or south. You may be in a completely different neighborhood.
Not every place is as nice as Downey, right, Patricia?
Hey, I like where I live. It's a nice area.
Yeah. So, Gustavo, how about those interest rates?
Yeah, I mean, we keep on battling that. You know, about the end of May, things started to kind of keep going up a little bit, and they continued through June, and here we are a little bit higher than expected. But you know, we always talked about the inflation reports, being able to get that under control. They have been able to bring inflation down, but the rates are still staying a little bit higher. You know, there's been a lot of contradicting reports coming out, which is pushing for that. Part of those reports could be job reports, you know, the initial jobless claims, things like that. So the market still, you know, the market still feels like it's strong, and it's keeping those rates higher than usual. The last inflation report that came out on Friday wasn't that big of a drop. It was a very soft move. But yeah, you can see here we're still hovering around 7%. Now these are averages. So that's something to consider. You know, definitely check with your originator like myself to see what your scenario could bring. But they're definitely still staying a little bit higher than expected.
And if your lender's quoting you much lower than this, they might be quoting you rates that they had available a few weeks ago that they may not have available today. So it's really important. The integrity of the lender is more important in a rising market like now.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times they might just assume that they're going to be charging you 1 point or 2 points, right? And then they quote you out on that. Pretty much a lot of these websites that you go on, there's going to be a point or two already built into that pricing because they want to make sure they advertise the best rate possible with a 25, 30% down, right? So they're not going to advertise those 3%, 3.5% programs because the rate's going to be higher than if you were paying 2 points. Right. So definitely, you know, make sure that you're not just going off of what's on the main front website, that you're checking it out, and then that you're doing your due diligence and calling someone, like I said, like myself, where we can look at your specific scenario and see what we can get you. And you know, the market is moving in the right direction as far as activity. You can hear from Bill and Patricia. I'm also seeing on my side where the agents are coming back and, you know, they're starting to waive appraisal contingencies, right? Maybe some inspections. They're keeping certain things, and we're going to 15, 16-day closings. So it's getting a little bit more competitive in that sense. And I'm pretty sure you guys have your feedback on that when they start waiving inspections or, you know, any kind of appraisal contingency there.
Yeah. It's a little different market than it was previously, but it's still pretty solid. I think that's the key thing is it's not what it was, it's what it is. And we have to, play the cards we're dealt rather than keep playing the cards that don't work anymore.
Yeah. At the same time, I'm seeing reports of inflation. I mean, sorry, of appreciation going up. So property values going stronger, right? But the news sort of pitches it as it's less affordable to buy, right? So I would say that the majority, 2/3 of the people own a home. So that's really good if your value of your home is going up. But of course, the media kind of turns it around and puts it more into a negative of it's unaffordable, and I get why. But I saw this analogy of when the stock market's going up, they don't say how it's so bad for those that can't buy those stocks, right? They say, yes, let's push on, keep the stock market going up, right? They get happy for that. But on our side, I feel like there's always some negative aspect of it instead of good positive news.
Yeah, true. What you mentioned about the starting to, waive appraisals again. I mean, we saw that in the beginning of the pandemic, right? The first year, everything was being waived from, loan contingency to appraisal contingency. We saw home inspections being waived, termite inspections being waived. So you're basically removing all of your protections as a buyer coming into the deal without even really knowing what you're buying. And so right now, one of the counteroffers I just received, which we had already waived our appraisal contingency because we're confident in the home appraising to that value. Plus, my buyer's putting down 75% of the price, so they're putting down a really good chunk of the purchase price. But it states on here, appraisal contingency to be removed and inspection to be done in 6 days, which is not unreasonable. You can do an inspection in 6 days, maybe even 5 days, but it's also looking at the property and the condition. If it looks like it's in good condition aesthetically, that and looking at the roof and things like that, that might be a good idea to shorten the time frame down. But if it looks like one in your general home inspection might lead to other inspections, you might want to be prepared to have those inspections done on the same day if you're going to shorten your contingencies that much. So you can do a roof inspection the same day that you're doing your home inspection. And you can also set up your sewer inspection if you wanted to do that, because working in a time frame of 5 to 6 days for inspection is pretty short, even if the property looks like it's in good condition. So I usually I talk to my clients about that to see how they feel about waiving that. But usually the general consensus is let's get a home inspection done, but just shorten the time frame on it. So it's still favorable to the seller as opposed to waiting 7 days to the default.
Yeah, I think you are saying, if I could rephrase it, sharpen your pencil, get rid of the contingencies you don't need, limit the ones you need to what you need, make sure you have the ones you need in there. And I think oftentimes buyers will have multiple contingencies they don't need. Well, this protects me, that protects me. I'm wearing a belt and 2 suspenders. Well, yeah, but a seller's put off by you wearing a belt and 2 suspenders. Let's get down to one belt. We call pay attention to that one belt. And so I generally try to encourage people. Yes, you'd love to have an extra contingency or 2 if the seller's not paying attention, if you're on the buyer side. But at the same time, you want to make it attractive to them. We do have a question on the live stream from LinkedIn. I think it's a first for this program, actually. A LinkedIn watching the question, but we're glad to have you. How long do you think the type of market will last? I'm looking forward to buying and waiting until the conditions are better. Ooh, waiting until conditions are better. When they be better than now? Because here's the problem. If the rates drop, there'll be a panic. It'll be hard to get a house. If rates go up, there might be less houses available because sellers might not want to put the house on the market. And if they go up, it could, because inflation is going up, the price of the houses could be going up as well, possibly. So unless you have a crystal ball, I have a crystal ball. It's right there. It doesn't really tell me much. I keep putting my hands over it and waving, but it doesn't say anything. But I would say to a LinkedIn user, how long will it last? I don't know where it is. I think what I tell people every week is make your best decision on where you are now. Don't try to predict the future, but play the cards you're dealt the best you can. If you do that over time, I think you'll win. Patricia, what are your thoughts? How long is the market going to last?
Well, I think it's basically along the same lines of what you just said. It's a lot of people are trying to time the market. How can I time the market so that I buy at the right time? But everybody's circumstance is different. So if you can afford the monthly payment, then right now would be a great time to buy. One of the reasons is because since the rates have gone up and they're expected to stay somewhere in the between 6 and 7% range. Some buyers have been priced out, so they're waiting as well. So if you're waiting, then once the rates start coming down, you're going to have that much more competition, right? Because now there's a lot of other people that have been waiting as well that are also trying to time the market. So we've said that, before on this call, if the scenario makes sense for you to buy, right now would be a great time to get into a property if you can afford the payment. And once the rates come down, you've already secured your home. And now all you need to do is refinance to lower your monthly mortgage payment. But at least you've already secured the home that you want to be in.
Yeah. And to add to that, there's a way to look at this with numbers as well. I was just talking to someone about renting and what they're spending, right? So they're spending $3,500 in rent. That's $126,000 in 3 years. That's going out the window, basically. If you're buying and say you're spending $4,000, $4,500 in a home payment, property taxes, all that, a part of that is you're paying down your loan. Part of that is getting tax write-offs. When you sell it, there's appreciation. It's coming back to you. So some of that money is going to be coming back. So I do an analysis of like a rent versus buy. We take a look at the opportunity and we take a look at where you're at today. And then we can see if that is an affordable payment, as Patricia mentioned. And then you can take a look and move forward with it, because the numbers are showing right now that we hit sort of this bottom of the property values when they were coming down after COVID. And then now, we're all going up over the last 4 months. Have been going up from January to April, have been going up. So it looks like if we continue to have appreciation, like Patricia mentioned and Bill, we're going to have good values. If rates come down here towards the end of the year, more people are going to want to get in. It's going to get more competitive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I've been advising my clients that have been, we just closed escrow on one of our buyers that was starting to look at properties once we were into the pandemic the first year. Then the market got really heated, conditions that we've never really seen before, interest rates in the 2s and 3s. So there was a lot of competition. And so it became very, very hectic, putting in offers, almost every week, going to see properties on the weekends. And so this is what it looks like when it gets really heated and there's a lot of buyers out there looking at property. So you're going into an open house and, you're surrounded by 20 people at least, and everybody's there that really likes the house and they want to make an offer. And so you're standing there looking around thinking, okay, you're already feeling that pressure. Like, I'm going to have to be really competitive with my offer and with my price and the terms. And so my client was feeling that way. So she had stepped out for a little bit and said, I'm just going to wait and kind of see what the market does. So here we are now 2 years later, found her a property, just closed escrow a few weeks ago. And Gustavo was, our lender on that. So we did a really good job on the financing and on the terms. There was also multiple offers on that property. We overbid, of course, got accepted. And she's at a lower interest rate than her waiting, right? Because if she would have waited, now we're at 0.02, I think, today. Back on May 26th, we were at 7.14 for a 30-year fixed. So we're not sure exactly how the market's going to play out. The interest rates might stay this way for some time. So if you're looking to buy a home, this is a good time to buy if you can afford the payment right now and at least secure your property. So now my client has secured her property, closed escrow, and now once the rates go down, she can refinance. But I think she was locked in right at 6%. Now we're at 7%. So, there's really no way to time the market.
Well, there is a way to time the market. It's just you don't know it until after it's moved, what time was. So there you go. Okay, so we're all busy. Multiple offers still going on. Buyers still looking. Buyers are looking for the market to improve. Who says if it's going to get better than it is today? There's no way to know that. The ancient Chinese proverb, the best time to plant a tree was 100 years ago. The second best time is right now. So unless you can buy a house 100 years ago, I was watching a movie yesterday with my wife from World War II and how the veterans who, participate in D-Day, they had life insurance policies with a payoff of $10,000, which today sounds like enough for a funeral and a this and a that, but in that time, $10,000 bought you a beautiful home here in West LA with money to spare, probably money left over by a car and furniture and everything else. So, over time, everything goes up in price, and including your house. And if ever rates go down, you have a chance to refinance going downward. So I think the best words I have is do what's best for you today. Don't worry about the future. You can't predict it. You can just be prepared for it. Gustavo, final words there for somebody looking to buy a house.
Get pre-approved. Take a look at your options. Like I said, either the rent versus buy, where you're at now versus where you could be. Or even if you're already in this market and you're making offers, like Patricia mentioned, what does an overbid look like? So definitely know where you're at and what your finances are.
Great. And on that subject, I just want to share with you guys, where was it? I do a new live stream called the Real Estate Humor Meme Stream. I've always wanted to do like a kind of a comedy show to show, how we all get pictures of funny stuff in real estate and what do you do with it? And so I do a show live on Wednesday mornings for half an hour where all we do is go through memes that are family friendly and funny. I'm looking for it on the other screen here real fast to share with you guys. But one of the ones I shared today was on that topic. And
Get approved.
Yeah, that one. Did I show you that one before? One of my favorites.
We saw it last week. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I do that one every week, I think, because it's a great topic. Okay, good. Final words, Patricia, what do you got for us?
Exactly. Get approved. This is a really good thing to mention because one of the clients that I was talking to today was, I'm thinking of renting for the next 4 to 5 years rather than buy and then see where the market's at in 5 years. Well, okay. So that's the scenario that Gustavo was working on today, was the rent versus buy. And if that's something that you're considering, should I rent right now rather than buy? Let's just talk about it. It's better to have information so you're more informed and educated on the process and really seeing what those numbers look like for you. So feel free to reach out anytime.
Fantastic. Well, look, I'm Bill Gross. This is Patricia.Castillo and Gustavo Segura, and we work as a team every Wednesday at 4 p.m. new time.
4 p.m.
Thanks to those of you who watched us. We got a smiley face. No, kind of a weird wink from somebody on social media. I don't know what that means, but anyhow.
We'll take a wink.
I'll take whatever, like or don't like it. If you watch this on the replay, put a comment in, put a thumbs up. Love to talk to you if we can help you. Our social media and our phone numbers are here to contact us. Make it a great week. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Patricia.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Gustavo.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.